Hello and welcome to Gil Evans Inside Out, and welcome to video 2.2 where I'm going to complete another couple of bars of this harmonization of On the Sunny Side of the Street. Check out the first video if you haven't already, as this one is going to start part way through. Let's get into it. This is the part I did in the first video, as well as adding some of these other target chords. I'll look at this passage in this video. That's what we've got so far. And as usual, I like to start with my bass line. So the chord here is E7, and we've got the root note in the melody. Now one of the rules is that the melody and bass can't be the same pitch, even though I broke it already. So here's a good chance to use an inversion of some sort. And where possible, I like to use the third or the seventh in the bass when I've got the root note in the melody. So let's try that. I'll try a seventh. The D could go right there. That could be nice. When I see something like a melody descending chromatically, I quite often will do that in the bass as well. So let's try it out. And then maybe I could just continue that to the C. That could work nicely. Here's what that sounds like. Yep, that's interesting. I'll try the third on the bottom. As you know, I like to try lots of different options. And then I'll continue that with these other notes. Oh, that's quite fun. I've got a chromatically descending bass line. That works out quite well. It's quite fun. I think I'll keep that. Now what to do with these two notes? Just like in the first video, I've got the chord of F, but I don't want to harmonize them all as F, because then there won't be enough movement. I could put in a chord 2, that might work, and that way our melody's going downwards. And then I could put in a C here. That might have to be some sort of F over C or C sus chord. That looks like a pretty good option. I know we're not using contrary motion, but it's good to vary things. That sounds pretty good. What else could I do though? Let's try some contrary motion. I'll be wanting to come up to this B. Maybe this could be an A, and this D could be a G. Here's what that sounds like. That's quite nice too. I quite like this dramatic drop and then rise. Here's what the bass line sounds like alone. Yeah. And that chord could be a 5 chord, a G7 or G9 in this instance. Let's try the bass line I had before. Here's the bass line alone. And the other one. Now sometimes I'll be racking my brain going back and forth between these. But the good news is that because you've got the target chords in place, this part of the bass line isn't going to make as much of a difference. But I think I'll stick with this option. Okay, it's time to add the inner parts. So I'm going to add the 3 inner parts, and as usual, I'll start with the target chords. Now ideally, I want the 3 inner parts to be their own pitches, so I'm getting a 5-note chord on each note. Alright, let's work on this F. 3rd, 7th, 9th, F major 9. That should work. Okay, let's go ahead here to my B minor 7 flat 5 and my B flat 7. I'm going to start with the B flat 7. I've got a 3rd in the melody, sometimes tricky. I'll put the 7th in, and a 3rd, and a 5th. What else could I add? I could add a 13th right in there. That's a little bit of a tangy chord. And it's a little bit dank. I'm going to try a 9th. Now that does give us a major 2nd between the melody and the next harmony. But because the melody is quite low here, I think we'll be okay. It's certainly nicer than the voicing before. Okay, the B minor 7 flat 5. Let's put in a 7th and a 5th. And we're going to need a 3rd. Down there is quite low. Going to be a grumbly chord. I'll put it up an octave just like we have with the B flat 7. So there are a couple things that are a bit funny about this part. We've got 2 major seconds in a row from the melody to the harmony. It's not the end of the world, but we'll just have to watch out for that. And we've got a repeated note, F to F. This is a chance where you could break the rules, but let's try and move one of the notes. I'm going to make this B flat an augmented chord. That should give us some nice inner voice leading. We'll have this F going up to the F sharp as the melody comes down. And this A will fall to the A flat. And so let's hear those 2 chords next to each other. It's not too bad actually. If you were worried about these major seconds at the top, we could move this 3rd. What if we made it a 9th? It gives us an interesting chord, but all of these parts move really nicely. And I like it how not all of the parts move in the same way. Some are falling and some are rising. I think it sounds pretty good. We'll have to see what it sounds like when we've got the phrase done. But I'll leave it like that for now. Let's look at this E7. So I've got the root note and the 3rd. Let's put in a 7th. And let's say a 5th. We need one more part. How about a flat 9? And I've got options there. I can move those pitches around. I could have a natural 9th or a sharpened 9th, flat 5th or so on. I'll just leave it like that for now. So this chord is probably going to be some sort of E flat 7. There's my flat 7, my flat 9, and my 5th. Okay, let's finish this little part of the phrase. Got a G flat on the bottom and a D in the melody. Could be some sort of dominant chord or a G flat diminished chord. I'm going to try a G flat dominant. So there's my 3rd and my 7th, and there's a 9th. Okay, I've got some problems. I've got some repeated notes, the E to the E, the G to the G, so I need to move something. Well, in this G flat 7, I'm going to need my 7th. So I could try on my F chord, instead of a major 7, make it a major 6, or major 6-9. That's allowed. That takes care of that one. And on the G flat dominant chord, I could just change my 9th, make it a major 9th. Now all of my parts move. Let me check the chord before. Uh-oh, 2 B flats here. This F flat and E are the same, but the parts go to different places, so it's okay. So this sometimes happens where you fix one chord, but it makes problems in the other. And luckily these are all dominant chords, so there's quite a bit of latitude to change things. So why don't I just augment these chords? E flat, augmented flat 9, and same for the E7. Now I've got a nice chromatically descending part again. C, B, B flat, A on the alto part. Let's check the other voices. And this alto voice, F, F flat, A flat, G. Good. Here's what those chords sound like together. Yeah, I think that works well. And it's good to cast your eye over it again and see if you can improve any of the inner voice leading. I think on this part I could make it a sharp 9, and then I get a nice rising line as the others are falling. F, F sharp, A flat, G. I'm going to try that. Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, just 2 more chords to do. Here we've got a G, so let's just try a diatonic chord with a G9. There's our 7th, 5th, 3rd. Here we've got 2 Ds in a row, but that's okay. It's played by a different part. This instrument will drop to the B, and that instrument will go from G to the D. On to the last chord now. We've got an A in the bass and an F in the melody. We could try some sort of F over A chord or A augmented 7. I'll try an F over an A. So we've got the root note. Let's add a 5th. We've got the 3rd down there. Okay, let's add a 6th. And let's try a ninth. Here's what that chord sounds like. I'll just check all my voice leading. There's no repeated notes. Okay, that looks like it would work. Here's the whole part in slow motion. Sounds pretty cool. Sometimes it's quite fun to check the inner parts. So here's the first part down from the melody. Good, that sounds very swingable to me. The alto part. Good. And the tenor part. Excellent. Here it is in slow motion again. Good, I like that. Let me know if you got any comments or questions, and I'll see you at the next one.